Fear is perhaps the most universal experience that ties all humans together. From the moment we are born, we learn to avoid what frightens us, whether it's the literal fear of falling or the more insidious, creeping anxieties that shape our decisions and lives as adults. Yet despite centuries of philosophical inquiry and psychological research, fear remains a dominant force that rules countless minds. Why? Because fear is not simply a biological reflex. It is a complex psychological web woven through culture, personal history, and deep-seated illusions about the self and the world. If you've ever felt trapped by your fears, whether they be fears of failure, rejection, death, or the unknown, you know how suffocating this experience can be. It can paralyze your ambitions, cloud your judgment, and shape your very identity. But what if the way to freedom from fear isn't to fight it, suppress it, or overwhelm it with positivity? What if the true antidote to fear is a path so subtle, so profoundly misunderstood, that most never even recognize it as a cure? This is the story of philosophy's greatest antidote to fear, the path no one talks about. While popular wisdom might point to courage, resilience, or even sheer willpower as the keys to conquering fear, philosophers throughout history have hinted at something far deeper and more transformative: the power of radical, dispassionate awareness, the ability not just to face fear, but to dissolve the very foundation on which fear stands. To understand this path, we first need to reconsider what fear actually is. Fear isn't simply the presence of danger. It's a complex psychological phenomenon that arises when the mind perceives a threat to the self, its stability, or its understanding of reality. Fear is born from uncertainty, but more than that, it is born from attachment to beliefs, identities, comforts, and illusions about control. Think about it. When you fear something, what are you really afraid of? Is it the event itself? Or is it what that event means about you, your place in the world, or your future? Fear often signals the cracking of the narrative you've constructed about yourself. And when that narrative threatens to shatter, fear lashes out, attempting to hold everything together. Philosophers like the Stoics recognized this long ago. Epictetus taught that it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Schopenhauer saw fear as stemming from the endless desires and illusions that trap human consciousness. Even Nietzsche, with his piercing insight into human psychology, urged the embrace of chaos and uncertainty as the path toward becoming beyond fear. Yet while these philosophies provide tools, none fully capture the subtle practice that serves as the true antidote: dispassionate observation of the mind's own fear. This practice asks you to become an impartial witness to your fear, to watch it with calm, without judgment, without resistance. This might sound paradoxical. How can observing fear make it go away? But here lies the secret. Fear gains its power because we identify with it. We confuse the trembling, anxious part of ourselves with who we truly are. We say, "I am afraid," when in reality, fear is just a passing experience, a wave rising and falling in the vast ocean of consciousness. When you begin to observe fear without reacting, you pull away from it. You no longer feed it with panic, stories, or resistance. Instead, you allow it to exist, and in doing so, you remove its ability to control you. This isn't about denial or repression, it's about clarity. The mind becomes a mirror, reflecting fear without distortion. Like watching a storm from a distance, you see the fear rising and falling, but you don't get swept away. Why has this path remained hidden or ignored? Because it requires a radical kind of courage. The courage to be utterly vulnerable and present with your inner world. Most people prefer distraction, denial, or external validation. The world around us offers constant noise and stimulation to drown out the uncomfortable silence where this observation happens. But history's greatest thinkers have pointed to this practice as the gateway to ataraxia, a state of serene tranquility, undisturbed by passion or fear. Unlike the popular misinterpretation of Stoicism as cold repression, ataraxia is a profound freedom. It's not the absence of emotion, but the presence of clarity and peace within the storm. One of the most profound components of this path is the acceptance of mortality. The fear of death is the root fear from which many others sprout. Philosophers like Montaigne and Heidegger insisted that only by fully confronting death, by seeing it as a natural, inevitable part of life, can we shatter the illusions that fuel anxiety. This confrontation with mortality isn't morbid. It is, paradoxically, life-affirming. When death is no longer a terrifying unknown, fear's grip loosens. You begin to live not in panic or avoidance, but with a clear understanding of impermanence. This awareness breeds a quiet courage, one that doesn't boast or dominate, but simply exists with unwavering calm. Yet, walking this path is not a quick fix. It demands patience and persistence. You will meet resistance from your own mind, which prefers safety and certainty, even if that certainty is painful. You will face moments when fear seems to swell beyond control, but these moments are part of the process. They are tests designed to push you toward deeper understanding. To begin, start small. In daily life, whenever fear arises, whether it's social anxiety, fear of failure, or existential dread, practice pausing. Breathe. Step back from the narrative. Observe the physical sensations, the mental chatter, without judgment or reaction. Name the fear internally. This is fear. Then watch it pass like a cloud in the sky. Combine this with meditation on mortality, not as a source of despair, but as an anchor to the present moment. Reflect on the fact that every second is a gift, precisely because it is fleeting. This perspective transforms fear from a prison into a teacher. As you practice, you will notice a profound shift. Fear no longer paralyzes you. Your mind becomes a calm, unmoving lake instead of a stormy sea. Decisions arise not from panic, but from clarity. Your identity expands beyond limiting narratives to embrace a broader, freer self. If this sounds challenging, it is. But it is also liberating beyond measure. This is the power of the path no one talks about. A path that has the potential to free you from fear's chains permanently. If you're ready to explore these ideas further, to deepen your journey into the darkest and most illuminating corners of the human mind, make sure to subscribe and join this community. Like this video if it opened your eyes or challenged your beliefs, and share it with someone you know who struggles with fear or anxiety. Your comments are important. Tell me, what fears have you started observing without judgment? How has this changed your life? Because in the end, freedom from fear isn't a myth or a faraway goal. It's a practice, a way of living fully, honestly, and bravely. And it begins with one simple step: to look directly at your fear and choose not to be its prisoner. Will you take that step today?